fall when the heat of the day is kind of not as intense, or at least they get cool nights, they last longer, y'all. Hey, flower friends, welcome to the live gardening show. It is your friend in flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler, and meet my newest friends. Oh my gosh, y'all, how gorgeous is this? Cosmos. Oh, and we'll talk all about them here shortly when we run through the harvest. So friends, welcome to our show. Today I am talking about bed prep. Let me go put these flowers down. So today I'm talking about bed prep. You're going to see what's blooming. We have a gorgeous lineup, and guess what? First week that I've cut eucalyptus. So we have eucalyptus, and then after we do the flowers, my sis and I are going to make speed bouquets. I need like 10 bouquets for something this afternoon, and we're going to do it right there on that table and show you guys our technique of doing that. And then of course I always show my favorite seed starting method, which is soil blocking, because we are in high seed starting season here on my farm. Starting all those cool flowers, and we're going to look at some really pretty seedlings. And as always, we're doing an in-app giveaway. So if you're watching from in our app, you'll have the opportunity to enter for our giveaway, and then the new project that we've been working on. I have something to talk about that. And then we have the live Q&A at the end. So if you have questions that come up during the show, if you're in the app, you can put in the comments question or at Lisa and put your question, and the team will gather those up and feed me a few at the end of the show. So before we get started, friends, I want you to see, so this is the app. This is what it looks like on the app. And there's a little button right down here at the bottom with a little arrow in it. That's how you can share the show with your friends. You can invite them and just say, hey, I'm over here watching this. I think you'd like it. Come on over. And we appreciate when you do that so very, very much. And just keep in mind for some housekeeping things, when you're placing an order, please double check your email address and your phone number to make sure it's valid and that there aren't any typos, because if we have a shipping question, we need to be able to reach you to be able to ship it to you, right? So check those out. And remember, so Susie is sharing a circumstance which really has happened. I know that this is what started this all. I've been saying it for 2 years. What is it called? So you can like Gmail, and them can give you the option to have an email that doesn't get shown to whoever you're engaging with, and that happens. And when that happens, we can't see your email, so you need to go into your account and check that out. And Susie was just saying this just happened last week. We can't send a shipping ticket, and really the shipper won't even accept the shipment unless they have a contact. So be sure to check that out. And two, remember that here in the app only, one of the special things about being in the app is that we give free shipping on orders that only have seed packets in it. So that means seed packet only orders ship for free. We pay the shipping. Happy to do that. And then also there's a cap on product shipping at $11.95. No matter how many products you buy, you just pay that one time, and that you can pile as many as you want on. And we ship to all 50 of the United States with no international shipping. Now, if you have just stumbled upon us on social media, we are so glad you're here. But what I want you to know is that we do have an app. And y'all, the app, see all these people, there's just conversations going on in there. The app is free, takes about 30 seconds to download it, and you can jump over to your phone's app store, search Gardener's Workshop, and we have 2 apps. You're looking to download the Shop app, and that's where we are. You can go over there, get it, download it, and then go in, and we are right there. And when you're in the app, you can participate in the conversations going on, but more importantly, you can participate in the giveaway, y'all. We can't see you on social, so you can't be a part of that. So check out the app, and it's free. right? And remember that if you go to products during the show and it says out of stock, we frequently sell out. I would recommend you get on the notification list. That simply means you'll get a little ding on your phone just in case the team might be bringing more stock over from our big website, because they're just not friends, y'all. They do not talk to each other. So that's how that will work. And lastly, if you are seeing people post the sunflower emoji, that's part of our logo, and I see lots of sunflowers in the comments. Those are people giving us a shout out of love. Those are people we consider that are the TGW family. They are my online or any of our online course students and members of my private flower farmer club. And we absolutely love it when they send us out some love. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Now the giveaway, for everybody that's in the app, you can hit that giveaway white button and that will put you on the list that we'll actually pull from at the end of the show. It's a $25 store credit, y'all. We give it every week. The people are always here. Y'all hang with us and we love that so much. But hit the button to be put into the running for the giveaway. So the tip of the day, it is bed prepping time. We have already started here on the farm. And let's think about, you're making a new bed, right? You're going to plant a cool flower cutting garden in your fall planting. So the first thing you think of is the location of where you're going to put it and how big it's going to be. First off, everything I talk about is definitely full sun. All cutting gardens do best in full sun. That's what helps them to regrow quickly. So that's the first thing. And then I recommend that they be freestanding. That means not up against the side of your house or a garage. You want an island, and there's a lot of great reasons for that, but having that accessibility and the full sun part of that makes a big difference. Where's your water source? You are not going to pull a hose 100 feet, but so many times before you give up. So think about where your water is, and then how big should it be? Y'all, 3 by 10 foot is the perfect home garden, cutting garden size. And that's what our seed collections go along with because it produces so much, right? And so that is basically 3 feet wide and 10 feet long. And that's a perfect size. Now, if you're a flower farmer, whole different ballpark, right? But that's if you are a home gardener. Now, I prefer to plant in raised beds. That just means that the soil is raised. You can we mound, we don't use frames. You can mound up dirt, and that just has so many benefits. Warms up quicker, it drains better, and it's easier if you have crummy soil. You can actually use potting soil to build a bed on top of your crummy soil, and so that just helps to elevate. It helps with drainage and, again, like warming up, things you just don't even think about, right? So let's just say you've got an existing bed, right? You want to be sure that you eliminate the flowers that have stopped producing. Like you're thinking to yourself, maybe I'd like to plant a fall flower garden that'll bloom in the spring, but I still have stuff kind of blooming. Well, if it's just kind of blooming, out of there, y'all. You have to pull it out to make way for the new stuff that's coming in. And for farmers, that's the key. You have to be a quick, I call it extinguisher. That is meaning you are quick to end crops to get the next one in. That's the real secret of how farmers have a constant supply of great quality flowers, right? And so what do we add to our soil? So first off, we start off with a soil test, and I just so happen to have, for the state of Virginia, I just sent in soil tests. Again, did it in the spring. You can go to your local extension office and get these little kits. This turns into a little box, and that's the first step. The second is we're always, at every opportunity, we add 1 to 2 inches of compost to our beds, whether it's when I'm preparing or using it as mulch. And then we always use organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer actually feeds your soil. That means that every time you apply organic fertilizer, it's making your soil healthier and better. Versus when you use synthetic, that would be anything blue or really pelleted looking. Those are things that are man-made and they just leach through your soil. Once it's gone, there's no benefit. But when you use organic fertilizer, it's building the population of good stuff in your soil, so your soil gets richer and better with every application. And here is Sustain, which is one of the ones that we use. And this is, I have to look at it every time because I say it backwards. This is made out of composted turkey litter, feather meal, bone meal, and sulfate of potash, all naturally occurring things, right? And it is slow release. This 5-pound bag covers 250 square feet, which would be like 25 by 10. It's $21.95, and there are bigger bags available over on our website, but this makes your soil get better every single time you actually add it in. So, have you thought about how you're gonna prepare and how you're gonna like irrigate, right? And so most people water by hand, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you just need to think about how you're gonna do it and make a plan so that you can deliver the water that's needed. You know, farmers using drip tape, we actually use, it's called T-tape. It's pretty inexpensive, saves so much water, so definitely need to consider that. And most home gardeners are watering by hand, and we do some hand watering here on our farm. And so you just want to be able to deliver that. So you just need to think in your mind, how am I going to water that? And then weed prevention. That's the first thing I think of, y'all, actually. Every time I'm building a bed, building a garden, first thing I think of is how are we going to prevent the weeds, and how am I going to take care of the pathways? And so preventing weeds is the key secret, because nobody has time to actually pull weeds. And weed seeds, every time you let a weed get away from you and develop seeds and dropping them, weed seeds literally can live for decades, y'all. There are billions of weed seeds in every handful. I'm not kidding. And the minute you give them light and water, they just sprout so quick and easy. And so we do several things here on the farm, but the main thing that we do on my farm is that we use the biodegradable film as mulch. So the key, what you're looking to do is immediately following disturbing the soil, meaning preparing it, you immediately cover it to block light from getting to the weed seeds, the annual weed seeds you've just brought to the surface. So this looks like plastic, but it actually is a plant-based product, but it works like plastic, meaning it blocks the light. It is super easy to plant through. You can literally use your finger if you wanted to poke through it. And we apply this, and you can see a video on the product on how we did that. I did it by hand for years, y'all, before I got a tractor. And it comes in several sizes. It's all 48 inches wide, so that would cover up to a 36-inch wide bed. And it comes in a 20-footer, and you can cut it with scissors really, really easily. It's $14.95 for a 20-foot piece that's 48 inches wide. And we have farmer sizes, too. We have 50-footers as well as 100-footers, and we have multiple pack discounts. Now, the key is that when you're making, there's a light side and a dark side. This time of the year, when we're planting for fall, we put the dark side up because there's just a little benefit all winter long of solarization that comes from the sun hitting that. But when we're in the heat of summer and spring, when it's hot, we make the beds, we put the light side up. That way you don't toast your seedlings. And so so Susie's intertwined some common questions we're hearing. Do I need irrigation under the Bio 360? Depends on your climate, and again, you can definitely hand water because there's holes in this. You don't water each hole, but you water the bed and the water runs down in the holes, basically the same as you doing just watering a bed without it. Water does not penetrate this. It only penetrates the holes that you actually put them in there. And you can't, we put irrigation underneath of it. Just really depends on what the level of what you're doing, but you need to provide water source and how you're going to deliver that, right? And so Where are we, Susie? So mulching is what is referred to as anything that covers the soil. This is a film, right? But there's also organic mulches. That's what bark, pine straw, shredded leaves, straw, any of those things. But the key is the organic things need to be deep enough that no light makes it through the mulch to get to the ground level. And that's where I find, that's why we use bio so much, y'all. It's so easy to suffocate seedlings with deep mulch. And to have really great weed suppression, you have to have blocked light. So check that out. All right, so the other thing to be thinking about this time of the year, especially if you're planting cool season hardy annuals, better known as cool flowers, is to be ready to protect them if they need that. So we use what's called row cover. Now, I don't plant any plant that's not winter hardy in my zone. However, you can enhance the growing conditions out in the garden by using row cover. We use only the lightest weight. It allows the maximum light and water to get through it. But we use it because it protects against the elements like pests of deer and rabbits, and most importantly, the cold wind, right? It also will help to retain moisture. And this lightweight only gives 4 degrees of protection, which is kind of nice when it dips down really cold. And you can either use this without hoops, flat on top of a planting for very short-term use. But we like using it with the hoops, which just gives you a lot more option and just provides an even better environment for your plants. So it comes in 3 different sizes here in the shop. It's all 6.5 feet wide, and a 20-footer is $12.95, a 50-footer is $26.95, and then we have a 100-footer. Don't we have longer ones over on the big website? I think there's longer sizes over on the website. You can check that out if you need it. But I consider this like a little jacket for my plants and keeps them from being wind whipped. This is what my cool flower garden looks like during the winter. And again, I'm not using that for cold protection. I live in a very windy place, and my little plants getting rocked constantly, this protects from that, and that's why my plants come out so much better coming out of winter than if they weren't actually covered.
I know what I forgot about the show.
What?
To mention that it's on sale.
We forgot to mention yet what the deal of the day is, y'all. It is 20% off of row covers, insect netting, and bio. Oh my gosh. The 3 things you're going to be using this fall. So the floating row cover, the insect netting, and the bio is all 20% off, and it's priced as marked in the app. So you don't have to use a coupon code. So you can see that in there. Y'all, we get so caught up here. All right, so how do you hold those row covers down? This is how I hold them down. These are the weight bags. And when you have the proper weight in these bags and have them, I put 3 on each end and 1 at the foot of each hoop. I mean, we have pretty roaring wind here most of the winter, and my covers stay down. So they come in a 10-pack, a 30-pack, and a 60-pack. And here's one filled. You know what the magic weight is? 15 pounds, y'all. This is 15 pounds of gravel. Suzanne just filled this one up this morning, so it'd be clean. And this is why our row covers stay down. We have heavy enough bags, and we use enough of them. And it just takes time to accumulate them. They are affected by the sun. They break down, so we always keep them out of sun when they're not in use.
And when you're filling it up, just get your bathroom scales and fill 1 up until you get to 15, and then just use that as a gauge, and you know about this much is about 15 pounds.
Oh, that's a great tip, sister. And so if you want to have hoops, which we love hoops, they're available over on our big website. They are not available here inside the app. So why would you be using insect netting this time of the year? Well, for me, because we're planting cool flowers in the fall, and I am in the mid-Atlantic, where what we're experiencing these days is fall just goes on really too long, and summer does the same. So I want to cool my plantings down on those really hot days. So I just install what we call a sun cap. This is the insect netting. Kind of looks like row cover, but it works totally different. Insect netting allows more light in and more heat out. And I literally use hoops with insect netting pushed up on the sides, and we use big jumbo clips like you can get at a big box store. It's like a little baby greenhouse with the sides pushed up. And y'all, it shades your seedlings. And that makes all the difference in the world for these cool season hardy annuals. Then we also use it, like right now, my cut flower kale is under this completely to block that moth that lays the larva on it. So the insect netting really has a lot of use, and we use weight bags to hold this down also. So this is also 6.5 feet wide, and it comes in 20, 50, and 100 foot pieces. And y'all, it is 20% off. It's so much more durable than row cover is. Row cover traps heat. That's its point. This doesn't trap heat. They're the opposites. They're like the opposite twins, right? So check that out. Now, we ought to have a picture of a sun cap next time. We're going to get a picture so we can show you next time.
Somebody asked what about snow?
So for whenever, no matter whether it's a sun cap or row cover, any frozen precipitation, ice, snow, sleet, whatever you have, you always take covers down because you don't want them to collapse on top of your plant, because it will definitely smother them through the days it takes for that to actually melt. So frozen precipitation, always take them down. Now, you can learn so much more about this, y'all. Seed Talk, which is the podcast that Lane and I do together, number 60 is fall bed preparation checklist. And then number 8 is the fall bed preparation for very early spring. So I would recommend that you take both of those, get them on your phone and listen to them the next time you're riding around. All right, so next up is the Cut Flower Handbook. This is my book that came out last year, and we are gonna look at chapter 2. Oh, look, there's me making beds with the tractor, right? That's me. I'm on the ground. It's both of us, actually. There's me, and there's Stevie on the tractor. And so there's just so many great diagrams in here, y'all, telling you how to prepare soil and what they look like. And there's just so many great references in here. Plus, when you buy the book from us, you get the bonus download of the flowers we could not fit in the book. And there's 6 of them. 5 of them are cool flowers, y'all. So you get actually 46 cool season hardy annuals. And the PDF download that you print at home is following the same format that the book does. And if you print it at 85%, it actually fits perfectly in your book. The pages don't. It fits inside of your book. So the book is $30. I would love to sign one for you, and you get the added bonus. And then, my book, Vegetables Love Flowers, is really about telling you why it is just so great to have all the great company that flowers keep and invite into your vegetable patch. That's the bottom line. This is not about growing vegetables, y'all, at all. It's about how growing a little cutting garden in your vegetable patch is so beneficial to your vegetables. And so this one is chapter. Did you mark the chapters? There is a bookmark, but it doesn't say what it says up there. All right, so chapter 8, I'm just trying to find where is chapter 8. So in Vegetables Love Flowers, I show pinching. There's our little bed. There's a bed row cover that's flat on the ground. You can use it that way, or you can use it with hoops. There's just so many putting in hoops, maybe making some homemade ones out of PVC. The Vegetables Love Flowers book just is about the way that I garden and farm. While it teaches you all about how to set up and maintain and harvest and condition cut flowers, it also shares my philosophy on how to actually how I do everything that I do on my farm. It's $25.95, and we give you a bonus free video book study when you get the book from us. So, and then of course we have the book that started it all. And this is Cool Flowers, right? Easy read, y'all. It's only 160 pages. It talks about achieving healthy soil. I show you the steps on how to prepare your soil. I mean, it is all in there. And this book also comes with a video book study. And you know, this little book is like the baby step one. If you're not familiar with growing cool season hardy annuals, this introduces the concept and how to figure out when you are supposed to plant, right? That is the very beginning, and would love to sign one of those for you. You want to do these?
Sure. Next up, we have our Bobo hand weeder. We love this tool, and Bobo loves to use it to poke holes through the Bio 360 to be able to plant our little seedlings out there. This is a heavy-duty tool, nice wooden handle, and it is $8.95, and it's just a great little tool to have in your arsenal. You can also do weeds with it, but we love it to put the holes in the Bio 360. Something else we use the Bio 360 are our dibbers. So this is the big dibber. I call it Big Daddy Dipper, and it is great to poke holes through the Bio 360. It's a birch with a leather strap, easy to make the holes the same depth, and it does have a ruler on here, so in case you need to plant bulbs and they need to be a certain depth, you'll know what depth that is. It's $14.95. And then we have Big Daddy Dipper's little brother. This is our little dibber, and each of the end is a different thickness. It's durable, long-lasting wood, and it's just precious. Someone tied a little green ribbon around this and used it for Easter. It looks like a carrot. It's just precious. So we love the little mini dibber. It's great for different jobs around the garden, and it's $7.95. Next, we have our copper markers. Now, this is our copper marker, and if you think you're going to remember what that plant is that you planted in a year or in a few months, you're wrong. We never remember. If you're like us, you're planting stuff constantly, you'll never remember. This has galvanized steel wire frame and the copper top here. You use a ballpoint pen to write on it and put a towel or something behind it, and the ballpoint pen actually etches in the copper, so even if it wipes off, it's still there because it's actually like engraved on it. Yeah.
Awesome.
And it comes in a 25 pack, and the 25 pack is $21.95. I would use this on trees, shrubs, perennials, anything that you plan to have around for a while, and you want to make sure you mark what that is. Next up, we have our label and marker bundle. So these markers are great, and our little pen is wonderful too. So this is 10 12-inch wooden markers, 10 18-inch wooden markers, and then one garden pen. And this garden pen is nice and pointy. It writes very easy to read, and this was out in the garden over a year, and you can see you can still read it. If you use a Sharpie, it's gone within a few weeks to a month. You can't tell what that was written on it. We use this to write on all of our seedlings that we start. We put the masking tape on the edge of the tray, and we write what they are and what date they started. And you can write on so many different things with these. I keep one in my purse. Use this to write on my lunch meat what day I opened it, because the Sharpie never seems to write very good on those kinds of things. So there's just 1,000 different things you can use this for. It writes when you really need it. All right, next up is Lisa and our soil blocking.
So I want to show you guys, look how beautiful. This is 40 of my edible kale plants. These are Black Magic, which I haven't planted them yet. I'm gonna get them a little bit bigger. They're right on the verge, but this is 40 plants on this little 5x8 size tray, which is the initial reason I investigated soil blocking 30 years ago. Space savviness, y'all. But let me show you what it all comes with, and then I'm gonna actually demonstrate it for you. The Soil Block Maker Kit is the #1 product we've sold since 2005. It's a great value. You save over $20 from buying it in the kit over buying stuff individually. So in the kit comes the small blocker. We import these from England. That makes 20 of the 3/4 inch blocks. And then it also includes the Seed Starting Made Easy online course. Friends, you have lifetime access to this. You can watch it as many times as you want. It takes you through the entire process, plus how to sow seeds directly out in the garden. And then you have your choice at checkout of whether you want to get 3 packs of warm season seeds or 3 packs of cool season seeds. So that is your choice to select those. It comes with 5 of the trays that holds 3 sets of 20. So each one of these trays would hold 60 plants, and there's 5 of them. This is reusable foam, y'all. They are not intended to be disposable. It includes the seed pan, which has no static electricity, makes sowing seeds a snap, as well as our toothpicks. And friends, it comes with a bag of the ready-made blocking mix. This bag, 6 quarts, will make about 600 of those little teeny 3/4 inch blocks. So it's incredibly efficient, space savvy, makes the best use out of your resources, and you get all of this for $89.95, y'all. And each year you just add seeds and soil and keep using everything over and over again. And that's a $20 savings. So we love that.
They're all available individually.
And everything is available, thank you, Susie, individually. Now let me show you how I actually do it, right? I'm going to turn this around. And I'm going to show you how I make the blocks. Thank you. So blocking mix is much wetter than what regular, when you're filling up a container or something. And y'all, this is a potato masher. I find that to be the very best tool. And you can see we use our foam trays over and over. Here is the tool, and this is moistened blocking mix, and I push it down into the mix, and I like to do it twice to make sure that my chambers are nice and full. And I use the potato masher, the flat side, to strike it off. And then I am going to lay this down. So these trays are a flat bottom, no ridges, with no drainage holes, which means you can do it anywhere. So then you just slide your hand under and push and pull the plunger. And friends, we just made 20 little containers. And I use this size block 95% of the time. Cosmos, zinnias, peppers, tomatoes, celosia, snaps, all of them are started in this little block. And it is just a super space savvy way to start seeds. All right, y'all. Reminder, here is the giveaway. Hit that white button and that'll put you on the list. One lucky in-app viewer is going to have a $25 store credit, and we're going to pull you at the end of the show. So don't forget to be here. And don't forget, if you joined late, that we're going to do a little Q&A at the end with a few questions. And put @Lisa in the comments, and the team will gather those up, and I'll be happy to try to answer a few of those. So we always show the desiccant packs. Storing your seeds properly means you buy seeds when you meet the flower, y'all, and then you file it accordingly into your seed vault, whether it's in a warm group or the cool group. 2-pack of these are $2.95. A 10-pack is $9.95. The key to seed storage is cool and dry, and these take care of the dry part. And so I want to say, because we get these questions all the time, is it too late for when I start showing you all these beautiful flowers? Is it too late? Y'all, most often it is. Today is a case of where it is. These are all warm season tender annuals. And that's where y'all are seeing this for the first time. This is just a blank sample of our big calendar journal that is going to be coming out this winter. This is the sample that the printing company sent us. I just wanted y'all to see how big it is. And that is part of what makes it so successful. So this calendar, which is, I've written about this in all my books, it's in my courses, I talk about how this calendar ran my farm. That calendar is where I would actually jot down the flowers that you fall in love with today, that now's not the proper time to start them, but you don't want to forget about them, right? The calendar's undated. That means that you fill in the date so you can buy 2 on a deal if we have one, and then you use one for the next year. And I absolutely love it. The first page is going to be all of my instructions on how you can apply 8 different succession plantings potentially to your garden. So we can't excite. So get on the wait list. That is going to mean that you'll get notified when they go on pre-sale in October, and you don't want to miss that, friends, because we have something special for you. So let's look at some flowers. Y'all, look. The queen zinnias are just getting more and more scrumptious every single week. Totally love them. This is the mix. All these colors are available individually. And here's one of them individually. This is the Queen Lime Orange. Y'all know orange is my favorite color, right? So no telling we have it segregated. This is just really, really beautiful. But all the colors are available. And then here's another great mix. Look at these Benary's Giants, y'all. Look at the size and this color. I love growing the mix in a small garden, but we also grow them as solids. This is the Benary's Golden Yellow. Y'all look at this one. Oh, look how big. That's the way I like to cut it while it's still green inside. Totally love that one. This is Scarlet. And this is Fire Engine Red. It is great for 4th of July. And then we don't have many white ones this week, but look at this. This is the way I like to cut them while they're still green inside, y'all. The white is useful all the time. And then this is the Coral. And Coral is like, here's a pretty, look at that one. Oh my goodness, y'all. It's just such a beautiful fluorescent color. And then this is Purple. And the purple is just a really rich, I kind of call it a jewel color. It is really, really pretty. And then this one, which we love to grow in the fall, is called Deep Red. Oh, this one's wine. Sorry, y'all. That's wine. Red's close. Deep Red. So this is just a really great color. You know, this with sunflowers in the fall just has that vibe of fall, fall, fall. And then, of course, you know, once again, orange is my color. I was looking for the perfect harvest set. Look at this. This is how I like to cut them. As the petals are still unfurling, I love that there's a kind of different shades. Really pretty. And you might not need as much pink in the fall, but you know, you may have that little girl baby shower that you need to go to. So growing the bright pink is always fun. And then what we've done here is, this is the Benary's Lime Green. Look at that voluptuousness, y'all. How beautiful. And I wanted to compare, these are Queen Lime Greens. And they're sometimes double also, but you can see that they're just smaller. They're just smaller. So that is the Benary's Lime Green, and this is the Queen Lime Green. And we love them all, but bigger's always better, right? And then this is not a Benary's. This is my favorite, Uproar Rose. This is a magenta fluorescent-y kind of color. Look at that. That is so pretty. And then this is a fall favorite, and this one is the butterfly favorite in my garden. This is Zowie. And this is a great one for fall, right? And it is covered in butterflies right now, covered. Then this is the Giant Cactus Mix. And y'all, this is just more subdued colors. Look how pretty that blush, I haven't done that yet. This is really subdued colors. It's not as vibrant as those Benary's, and it's just great for fall. And then this is, what is this?
I thought it was part of the mix.
Yeah, well, I thought it was Inca, but it's not. I'm going to show them what Inca would look like. So there is Inca, the cactus orange, and that's what this is. And there is some darker orange ones that are also in there. And you know, the specialty zinnias, like those that I've just shown you, we grow just smaller portions of them, just like we do the Oklahoma zinnias. They're just smaller, but definitely necessary and needed. And they're in just such great colors. And the white Oklahomas are the cleanest white flowers that I've ever grown. And then this is Oklahoma Pink, which with our pink seed collection, we just love having this one in the mix. So the zinnias are just going nuts this fall. And then, you know, people are always asking, the first thing people do when they bring flowers, when they pick up your flowers, is they put it to their nose. We use basil. That's what makes it fragrant, right? And this is cardinal basil, which has a really big leaf. And this is early, but it normally has a big flat maroon flower on top. This kind of smells like regular basil, right? I mean, they're all culinary basils, but they last long in the vase. So that's cardinal. And then this is the favorite. This is Miss Burns Lemon. She's light pale green, green stems, nice flower head color. #1 customer favorite and request is, I want lemon in my bouquet, please. Then this is cinnamon. See how it's darker? Darker flower, pink. It's just a bit darker, right? All right, so this is the one that it's live now, right? This is now available, y'all get it. This is the Everleaf lemon. And so the difference, this is not quite as fragrant, but it still smells very lemony. This one blooms so much later and allows it to grow even taller before the bloom comes, because frankly, I'd rather have it without a bloom to use than having the bloom on it. This is the Everleaf lemon, and it holds up better than Miss Burns, but we absolutely love both of them. So this is good old Gumphrina. And this is the pink, which Suzanne thinks it's a little purpley, but it's a beautiful, beautiful color. And you know, it dries and looks pretty much the same. Then this is the bicolor rose. Look at that, y'all. Isn't that cool? And they dry looking just like what they're looking at. This is what we love using in the summertime to make bouquets pop. This is the purple red, and the Audra series is what all of these are, and they are the easiest to cut of all the Gumphrina, y'all. And then white, again, you can never have enough white flowers. And they have a little touch of green still in the center. Really love them. And then this is Act Green. And I mean, a green flower is just so useful as filler. Really love it. Act is 1 seed, gives you 1 flower. Look at this. Is this made for fall or what? Jura salmon. This is one that we have custom grown, and it's a ball type. That means the sides don't show, and it gets darker in the fall. It's really beautiful. Then this is, if you're just meeting coxcomb for the first time, this is what I recommend you start with. The coxcomb mix. This is Chief Mix. And super branchers, strong growers. Look at all the beautiful colors that are in there. It's really, really pretty. Then this is called Higyoku red stem. Notice it's got red foliage and a red stem, right? It's really nice to have to use in fall work. Because the foliage on celosia hydrates really well, and it's usually not damaged. It's really, really pretty. And then its sister is green stem. And see how it's got green foliage, but the colors are definitely, this is more scarlet red, but the green stem is a little bit more orangey red. And so that is the Higyoku, and y'all, this one is so pretty. This is Crystal Beauty. This is a strong branching, excellent habit coxcomb, and look at that beautiful, muted, I don't even know, what color do you call that? Is that salmon? Is it blush? It can be anything you want it to be, y'all. And then look at this one. This is Kramer's Burgundy. This is the best variety for drying. The Kramer's is, and it's just so pretty. Look how nice and ribbed. Really love that. And then here is my new favorite for new introductions. This is Queen Improved. It's a really bright orange, where Persimmon Chief is much darker, because I love that too, but this is just different. Love Queen Improved. And y'all, if you do not like the smell of marigolds, let me introduce you to White Swan, who isn't white, by the way. It's buttercream. And so literally there is minute, we just don't smell anything. And there is really no fragrance, because you do know that the fragrance in marigolds is the foliage, not the flower. Long lasting, useful color. This is White Swan. And then this is the mix. There's gold down there, there's orange, and there's yellow. And y'all, marigolds love late summer, and they perform better and better. And this is what I love doing in the fall. I love making candy corn bouquets. Put the white with the yellow and the orange and the gold. They are just so beautiful and so long lasting. Now, just like marigolds perform really well in the fall, celosia just keeps on going. This is Sunday orange, y'all. I love when he does this. He tries to go back to his roots and goes coxcomb. But these are just a great fall color, obviously. And then this is the new introduction, Shimmer. And this is like muted colors. It's really beautiful. It is super duper tall. And it has a nice mix of colors. If that's your palette, it's really pretty. And then here's one that I grow all summer. Not so much in the fall. It would be okay in the fall. This is High Z. This is just a great magenta color for spring and summer flowers. It's a lot of fun. This is, oh my gosh, these are like clubs, y'all. Look how tall this is. These are Selway. Selway is a plume series. And these stems, look how big, that's the head of one stem. The structure in the garden, it branches. It's such a uniform plant. This is the terracotta, and this is a great color. It goes with everything, but it's great in the fall. So we love that. And then friends, if I could only grow one plume, this is the plume it would be. And that is the Texas plumes. Look at the colors. I can hold it up here so you can see. There's the light white green. There's bright yellow right there. I mean, there's just so many different colors and shapes. And it's over 5 foot tall out in the garden, right? I mean, you do not have to worry about it being too short. Everything's big from Texas, y'all, and that includes the celosia. And then the first harvest of our third succession of sylphid, y'all. Look how beautiful. Sylphid is just universal. Look how pretty the blooms are. It is super tall out in the garden. This is the stage to harvest, y'all, when it is clean, before any seed development starts. It is really beautiful. And, you know, what's fall without grass? Here's a Purple Majesty. Purple Majesty looks like a corn plant, but it has this amazing cattail looking head that comes out. And I would cut this about 2 inches shorter than this. When it's out in the garden, it goes on to produce and to develop. This is with sunflowers. It is really fun to use in the fall. And then this is explosion grass. And so I know I cut one. I cut these this morning. This is the stage to harvest. See how the plume is just coming out? It will quickly continue to develop. And it has these little dangly iridescent tips. And we love this stuff, and customers love this stuff. First eucalyptus of the year, y'all. Suzanne and I cut this morning. This is Polyanthemus. How awesome. Don't you just love this? I mean, this is cool in the garden because it shimmers, right? But I wanted to show you. So this is what we end up with when you were making a bunch, right? You strip the bottom and you have all those left. But I didn't strip this one because, you know, I could maybe use that. So I brought these in to actually pull off so we could put them in water. But this is Polyanthemus. These were all planted in April. Seed started in January. And Polyanthemus is the best. And then here's the old standard. This is Silver Dollar. And look how pretty that is. Great color. I mean, you could just stick this in a vase, right? And you could do that with Polyanthemus. So I think the seed is available for both of them, and that's the first seed I start in January, first week in January. And then looky here. This is Hibiscus Mahogany Splendor. And we grow it for this, y'all. There's no flower, it's foliage. And it is very productive. You do not need very many plants. And then look at this. This is Azuratum. When it stops blooming because the days are getting shorter, We use it for foliage. It holds up beautifully. I'm trying to find a really bushy piece to show you. It holds up great in the vase to just help you fill out your bouquets. I can't see what's next. Is it the eggplant or
It's the eggplant.
All right, y'all. You've met this guy before, right? This is our pumpkin on a stick. This is an ornamental eggplant. It's an amazing cut flower crop. It's so much fun. If you're a home gardener, you should grow this to have in the fall. This is how it looks. We made this, like 3 weeks ago, and it's now drying. But let me tell you, so the plants grow pretty tall. The fruit develops on the bottom of the stems first. We cut the fruit off the bottom of the stems because you don't want to cut a long stem and then cut the top off. We're waiting for the fruit at the top to develop and ripen. So I cut the fruit off on the bottom, and I would sell them by the piece. I mean, to display in a bowl for the holidays, this is, we're talking like October, right? I mean, this is right up there with, pumpkin lattes, right? So this is what I do to not let the fruit on the bottom of the stem rot while you're waiting for the top. Just harvest those babies, y'all. And then, of course, a big part of fall is our rooster peppers. And what's so special and great about these guys, not only look how tall they are, but they're super quick and easy to strip. And that's what's wrong with almost all other peppers as cut flowers. The fruit is not all at the top, and you could not have stripped it that quickly. And look how tall it is, y'all. High value cash crop. It's a seed that we had grown for us. So rooster peppers should definitely be on your calendar for next year. And then look at this. This is what I make out of them. There's just so many uses. Look at this. I mean, those rooster peppers are a high value crop. And y'all, now let's look at them cosmos. So this is the one that's I'm smitten with right now. This is apricota. And look at how pretty she is. Cosmos perform best in late summer and fall as the days get shorter. But not only do they bloom more, they last longer, y'all, because of the cooler temperatures. This is double click bonbon. And look at, going to show you a really, oh, look at this. Look at this one. Look how many petals there are, y'all. That is amazing. And then this is rubenza, which this is the one that blooms fresh, kind of dark, but then it fades like a pair of stonewashed blue jeans. This is one of my favorite fall cosmos, rubenza. And so you're making your list or ordering your seeds and storing them properly to start these for next year. Now we're back to double click. This is Snow Puff. It's a white one. Again, you just cannot have enough white flowers. Oh, let's compare them. So that's double click. This one is fuzzy, fizzy white. So this one has like an extra petal in the center. This is really one of my favorites. All the doubles last longer. This is afternoon white. Look at this one. Look how big. They're just big and showy. So that's afternoon white. This is fizzy white. And this is double click snow puff white. They're all just really, really beautiful. Then we have, this is Cupcake. I couldn't think of the cupcake. Cupcake blush. This one's a lot of fun, but it's a single, pretty much. And it's really tall, super performer, and it's all about what colors do you need, right? But look at this one, y'all. This is the double click pink bicolor. Look how pretty those are, and double. So very, very pretty. And then this, we're having a Cosmo tangle here, friends. Look at all these. This is the cranberry double click. This is perfect for fall. If I think, if you go to farmer's market, you could sell a whole booth of Cosmos. There's no question. Look how pretty. And they definitely last longer in the fall. All right, so you can also get the double click mix, which has all of those colors that I showed you in the double click series in one pack of seeds. So it's just personal reference. All right, sister, what's next?
We're gonna do the Bouquet Studio.
We're gonna make
bouquets.
speed bouquets, y'all. All right, let me put these Cosmos back because I don't think we're using them. Only because I have to use them for something else, y'all. Everything is always game unless I'm doing something else.
All right, so we thought we would give you a little view of our speed bouquets, and you can't see them all, but I have 8 different little bouquets laid out here, and I'm starting with a stick of lemon basil. Sorry if I'm yelling, not sure how well you can hear that far away. And so what we do is we lay out 8 of whatever we're starting with. If you're doing 10, do 10. When we did big production, we would do 10 at a time, or 20 or 30 or 40 at a time, have multiple tables. But I'm starting with a stick of basil, so I'm laying that down. And the main key to this is that this is going to be the horizon of our bouquet. So we want to have everything be at this horizon except for spikes, which will stick up a little bit higher. And if you lay them down the way you should, then when you pick them up, you don't have to arrange them, you just cut them and rubber band them. So Lisa's coming with some coxcomb.
So when we used to make a couple hundred every Thursday afternoon, it was like, we of course had Michael Jackson playing in the background, y'all. That was like a major piece of how we were successful. But you would just grab a whole bucket of the next flower and just lay them down.
And our spikes are so tall, they're going to be in the way. So I'm actually going to give them a little haircut here so they won't be as troublesome.
Grass next, sister.
Sure. So the idea is that you have multiple people laying down and each one of them goes and lays one. So with the spike, I still use 3, 5, an odd number. But when you lay your spike, you want it to stick up just a little bit above your arrangement, if you can see that. So we're just going down and laying them. And the theme today is bright colors, fall's a bonus.
So Stevie, my husband, is gifting the girls in his office with flowers today. So that's where these are going.
So next I have the ageratum, which has no blooms because of their day length that we have now. They don't set any blooms, but they are great foliage. So we are just going to set them down in the middle to help goof up our little bouquet here. Lisa's coming with another coxcomb. I think I'm going to start with zinnias.
So why don't you put the zinnias in first, sister?
Because they get smushed.
Yep, we smashed zinnias for a few times until we learned that.
So if you do your zinnias after you get a little pile going, then they're not going to get squished down in there laying flat on the table. And sometimes, depending on how much other stuff we had to go in a bouquet, we might wait to the end and add 2 or 3 zinnias on the outside edge instead of doing them during the flat lay like we're doing now.
You want some big colorful plumes?
Yeah, that'd be great.
And Suzanne, tell them your theory about colors. Y'all look at that. Look how pretty. You can see it. It's a big salmony plume.
Flowers are beautiful. You
Can I have
can't
a color?
You can't.
I mean,
Here's one, yeah. Flowers are beautiful. You can't mess them up. Any 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 colors you want will all go together. I'm going to go back in with another coxcomb.
There's your
Here's
clippers.
some yellow. Thank you. Those are yours now.
All right, so I'm doing, sorry, I held the ship up.
And the more ready your flowers are when you're going to make these, the quicker it goes. If they're too long, not stripped enough, or if they
Old flowers, if
old
your
flowers,
harvester didn't.
yes, anything that it should be a pristine flower ready to be put in a bouquet, coming in from the field, but for you, just before you get ready to make your bouquets. And
Let me
so,
do another one.
yeah, go ahead and do another one. I'll get some more foliage. So, did you already do? You already did frosted.
We haven't done any zinnias.
I did zinnias.
Okay, oh, see that now. I love doing it like this when there's not 250 to be done, because I can be picky about, oh, I don't want to put this one in that one. You know, you got to get a little choosy.
In the day, whatever flower was in your hand was the one that was being laid in that arrangement.
Oh, look at
because
that.
if they're all perfect, and I'm laying more basil just to fluff up our bouquet a little bit, but if they're all perfect, when you bring them in, then you don't have to spend time looking to see, is this one okay? So you just lay down the flower you have. I think more zinnias.
Okay.
You want to do,
You may do foliage on top of the zinnias when you're done, or do you just do foliage?
just do foliage. You can do more coxcomb bloom. And normally we would have some sunflowers mixed in here. We don't have sunflowers today. A sunflower
Would change
I
everything.
set that up I set it up just a little bit above the horizon of my arrangement because
We have
It-
two. Let's use them.
yeah, because they tend to take up a lot of space, and if you bury them in your bouquet, they're not going to be seen very well. So, let me see, sister. So this is how we generally harvest them, and this is how we prefer to send them home. They will quickly open up, but when you put them in a bouquet, you need to stick them up a little bit above the horizon of the bouquet so that they have room to open up. So that one's going to stick up. And when you put these in a sleeve, if you're taking them to the farmer's market, then there's nothing more beautiful than that sunflower smiling up at whoever is about to take them home.
Or you don't even have to be selling flowers. Like
Yeah, just to enjoy
we
them.
love sleeving our bouquets. Like for instance with Steve. So his girls are going to pull bouquets in and out of the bucket trying to pick theirs, right? And so a sleeve just protects it. So that's really nice to have a sleeve to either put a message on, but more about protecting the bouquets.
And I've lost count. I don't know how many plumes we're using. I don't know how many of what we're using, but as you can see, it's beautiful. It doesn't really matter when you're making a bunch. They're just going to be gorgeous.
Which basil did you use?
I use the lemon basil, and then I think I also use the new lemon
Everleaf.
everleaf in there as well.
So they
I
need
don't
more
really
foliage.
I don't like to mix basils because that kind of can mess up your senses sometimes. So I did stick with the lemon, but there's two different kinds of lemon. All right, so sister,
So why don't you put the bucket of zinnias right here so they can see us picking them up? And with
let's
foliage.
get another color because those are picked over.
Those yellow ones are gorgeous.
Let's get Lisa's favorites. The yellow.
And what she usually does, let's just make a space. So here's a bucket we're working from. Normally this would be behind us somewhere. But when we pick up a bouquet, we'll look at it and say, oh wow, it needs more. And so usually we know that we have all of this to use up, so we kind of get generous with stuff.
So here are our zinnias. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start at the other end, and you can see. Let's push the table up so they can see up close a little bit. Y'all get the idea of the
System.
system.
We
so you
need
can see
this.
this is beautiful, but how pretty would it be to add a few zinnias in? I'm going to do an orange one and a see, and then we also have more foliage. You can always puff stuff up with foliage. Foliage is your friend. It makes everything look bigger, brighter, and beautiful. So now I'm going to just look and make sure that it's all about the right size. I have a compost bin back here. I'm going to find the shortest stem because if I were to cut this long and it gets put in a bucket, it's not going to get any water. So you want to go with the shortest stem. And that is also part of your harvest. You don't want to be using some little short thing with all these tall stems and then you have to cut everything really short. So we have here our flower food and our rubber bands. We use number 32 rubber bands. And we just
Wrap 3
wrap
times.
3 times, and on the last time we just take the flower food and stick it under there. So
Where's our
now,
buckets?
now you
Oh,
would
these are the buckets.
now you would sleeve it if you wanted to sleeve it, if you're going to take it to a market or grocery store.
So
And
this
this
is-
can go pretty quick when you're set up and not talking about what you're doing.
For
It can be a
real.
little tough to do.
And Michael Jackson.
That's right, the Michael Jackson never failed. Whenever we were tired and we had already done so many bouquets, you turn on Michael Jackson or any music with a great beat and you can just go to town. So again, you're just gonna find your shortest stem and you're gonna cut the whole bouquet. And we used to have a guillotine at one point when we were doing hundreds of bouquets, and
See
you
how
would just
pretty?
sit it down and whack.
And yes, you could spend so much time fussing, but it's not necessary, y'all. It's not necessary at
They're
all.
still beautiful. If I spent a bunch of time arranging where these were, if you stick to the horizon plan, spikes above it, and then it's going to be beautiful in a sleeve, it's going to be beautiful in a bouquet. And I'm sure somebody is timing us as to how long this has taken us. And you can make it take as long or as short a time as you have if you just stay on the
Point.
plan. That's right. Stay on target. Again, look how beautiful this is. And a piece of foliage. And sunflowers too. You can always poof up your bouquet with sunflowers. The other thing that is great to poof up your bouquet are marigolds.
Look at that yellow.
Although not everybody loves marigolds, they will take, because one stick of marigolds could have 3 or 4 or 5 blooms on it. It can take one bouquet and almost be a bouquet by itself with a few flowers added.
And here today, the bouquets are getting fatter as we're getting close to the end because we know, hey, we have all these flowers left over. That always happens too.
All right. Man, I just love this color of zinnia there and these coxcombs, all of these bright colors. And that's the other thing. Don't make dark bouquets if you're trying to sell them. We would have to give away the dark bouquet at the end because people do not want the dark colors. They want the bright, vibrant colors like this. Think about those crazy daisies they
I was
sell.
just thinking that very same
Everybody
thing.
wants the really bright colors.
I cut that one too short.
And see, my basil here is a little short, so I'm just going to pull that down so I can keep my bouquet a little bit taller. And granted, you want it to look tall. Do you know why? Because that speaks to value. People value a taller bouquet more than they would a shorter bouquet. So if you leave the stems on, which I recommend that they cut most of the stem off when they get home, but if you leave the stem on, then they're going to have a heavier bouquet when they pick it up, and they're going to have its value seem more than if it was a shorter bouquet. Exhibit A. Look, there's 3 different lengths of bouquets here. There's a tall one, a medium one, and a shorter one. And you could charge more money for the taller one. It's just perceived value because of the height. So Lisa's working on the last one. Let me get the other bucket over here. So here's what we've done in just a short amount of time. And the other recommendation is, if you are at a farmer's market, we always sold flowers by the stem and pre-made bouquets. And all you have to do is make a bouquet in the booth, and people will come in and say, that is the most beautiful bouquet I've ever seen. Is that for somebody? I'll say, no, it's for you. Then somebody else will walk in and say, can you make one just like that for me? And it doesn't have to be the same exact flowers. Just use the same color theme, and they all love them. So, yeah, quick, easy bouquets, and look how beautiful.
So I have to make one more little bouquet. Tomorrow is my great niece's 4th birthday, not 20th. Oh my goodness. So I am going to just put together some little zinnias for her. And I'm going to put, sister, do we have any foliage? Can I have something for foliage? Oh, I see basil right over there. So this is for little Flora. She'll be 4 tomorrow. And she and her mama just love our flowers. And so I am making this little bouquet to go next to Flora's bed. Literally, y'all, flowers are just beautiful. You just have to do it. And so what I am going to do is I'm actually going to cut this one pretty short and make it little girl size, right? So I'm going to cut it way down here and try not to cut my fingers off, which is what we talk about and think about all the time. And I'm going to put flower food on because her mama will help her actually fill up her little vase, and she'll feel really special now tomorrow with my little favorite Oklahoma zinnias and some flower food. And there is Flora's little summer, end of summer birthday bouquet. All right, let's see where we are. It's time to wrap up, y'all. Did y'all like the bouquet? I love making bouquet. I love making bouquets when we don't have to make 250 of them. All right, first off, I want to remind everybody, be sure to check out all of our we have so many resources, y'all, but we have 2 podcasts. We have Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane, as well as Field and Garden that I host. And remember, in Seed Talk, number 60 and number 8 episodes are like deep dives on things that I talked about today. And over on our big website, we have so many free resources, videos, our blogs. You can connect with our podcasts over there. There's so much soil blocking information. And remember that this week I will be hosting Ask a Flower Farmer on Wednesday at 3 o'clock on Instagram under the Gardener's Workshop. And remember to meet us back here next Friday for the live show, as well as I do Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and I do pop-ups, and I will be doing a pop-up over the next few days unannounced, because we have so much beautifulness here today for fall. So turn your notifications on. And friends, we have a winner of our $25 store credit, and I hope you're here. And the winner name is B. Gibbons. B, because we don't know what her first name is. We're guessing Becca. We're not sure. Gibbons. B. Gibbons is the last name. If you are here, give us a big shout out, and we will drop $25 right into your cart. Have a $25 store credit. She's here. Great. Congratulations. You have $25. The team is, as we're speaking, typing and putting it into your cart. So when you go to checkout, you have a $25 credit. So let's, if you're heading out, thank you for joining me. But now we have a little Q&A, and let's see what some of the questions. So we've been having weird cold weather in the southeast. Are you doing anything special for your hot weather flowers that have slowed down? No. I mean, one thing I have learned through farming now for 28 years, the weather is definitely weirder now, but it's always been weird. It never does what we think. And so no, it's good for some things and bad for others. You know, if it's droughty, you might think about watering. But for cold temperatures, for warm season stuff at this stage, there's nothing really that you can do.
Let it go.
Let it go. Now we have singing. Now that Suzanne and Susie had a singing show while I was gone 2 weeks ago, we are incorporating singing into our shows, which I love. Do you direct seed all your fall planted spring crops, or do you plant some transplants as well? What a great question. The way that you start a seed is not the way that you prefer to start the seed. Each seed has its own preferred method, which means the easiest way to get it to sprout. So I do both. There's probably 10 or 12 that are direct sown, and it is right on your seed packet. Susie's about to hand me one. It tells you right on our seed packet, start seeds indoors. If it was an outdoor sower, it would say prefers to be sown in the garden. Plus, you can go to our website on each seeds, or in the app. Each seed has the same information on the page where you buy the seed. It's all there, so it's what the seed needs, not the way that you want to do it. But I do both because there are seeds that do both ways. How do I keep the Bio 360 from blowing up and down? Sometimes in the winter it blows so much here on the coast it pulls the plants out of the ground. Should I mulch also? So I've experienced that. I live in a really windy situation here. And during the years, it definitely takes a learning curve to install Bio 3 or any film, plastic or biodegradable film. And that is a lot of it. Once you master making flat beds, not a lot of dips in it, because where the dips are, the film is up off the soil, even though it doesn't look, you can't really see that. And when the wind gets under it, and then you make small holes so that the wind doesn't get in those holes, and you're sure to have the edges sealed. And so that is a really, really big difference, or a learning curve to be able to learn. And yes, you can definitely, we have done that too. We have actually put compost down as mulch 1 or 2 inches on the bio when I started having ripping issues, because the wind just this is what the film's doing, and if it gets under there, it'll just rip it. But that doesn't happen to us much anymore. It's really about the way that your bed is built, and you'll get better with time, and it's so worth it. Do you immediately put up the row covers or put the insect netting up first? When do you take the insect netting down and put the row covers up for fall planted crops? Okay, so I only use the insect netting in the fall as a sun cap to shade cool season hardy annuals that it's just too hot outside. And I know they would benefit from being cooled down. So that would be the first step. That doesn't always get put on, doesn't always happen, but that is what we use insect netting for at this time of the year primarily. And then we don't put row covers up, install them completely. I don't until nighttime temperatures start dropping below 25. And that's usually an indicator that it's just going to be cold now, you know, that you're moving into winter. I put them up at 25 and I take them down when it hits over 50 degrees in the afternoon, because you don't want to encourage your plants to break dormancy, and that's what creating that toasty environment in the middle of the winter under a row cover will do when the temperatures climb. All right, one more. Any thoughts on why my prairie sun rudbeckia isn't germinating? A couple things. Rudbeckias in general, and prairie sun is one of them, is usually a pretty strong germinator. Three things I would think of is that first off, it's surface sown. That means it's firmly seated on the surface, not covered with soil, needs light to germinate. And most importantly with rudbeckias and really all the cool season hardy annuals is air temperature. It's almost always related to that. And so if you need to look at what your air temperature is, and then it definitely needs to be on a seedling heat mat with a cookie cooling rack on top of it, so it's warm and not hot, along with cool air is what, because we grow about 9 different rudbeckias and start them from seed, and it takes a little bit of just tweaking your environment, especially this time of the year when it still may be warm outside, and that may be affecting your air temperature. All right, and I'm just going to answer this one. Is it too late to start zinnias in zone 7A? First off, it's not your zone, it's your first frost date, right? And how many days until then? I would guess your frost date's the same or even closer than mine, so yes, it is too late. And I want to just point out that the Cut Flower Handbook book walks you through figuring out when and how many times you can plant stuff. That's what the big giant calendar is going to help you with also. We have so many resources that tell you, that walk you through, say, look up this for your garden. All right, mark that date here, and then you're going to use that date to figure it out. And it's really helpful. So the Cut Flower Handbook will actually guide you on that. So friends, thanks for joining me today. I'm so glad I made a little bouquet for Flora for her little 4th birthday tomorrow. And I hope y'all enjoyed speed bouquets. And friends, until